Hey guys, ready to solve some one-step equation problems? So first thing, we always want to read the whole problem. Brandy has a bike odometer that shows how far she travels. She bikes 8 miles to her friend's house, and then both girls bike to the beach. When they arrive, Brandy's odometer shows that she traveled 14 miles in all. Which equation can Brandy use to find the distance d from her friend's house to the beach? And here are some of our choices. One thing I want to go back to, guys, is odometer is measuring like your distance. That's like on a car, you usually see it. So you look at if you set like your trip, how far you went. That's all it's talking about, right? So basically, she's trying to see how far does she travel. This one says she rides 8 miles to a friend's house, and then they continue on. She and her friend ride to the beach. When they get there, she looks and she sees she rode 14 miles in all. So let's do our steps, right? We have to look at what is input. We're going to circle the numbers in units, and we're going to underline what it's asking. So I have this in other colors, sorry. So on our next slide, right? So this would be what I would circle is my 8 miles. Over here, I circled my 8 miles. And then I would box this in all, because usually in all is going to be tell us that that's a type of addition, right? And what we're looking for is which equation use, find the distance to her friend's house to the beach. And I left off the D. Notice on here though, guys, I don't have my whole question underlined. So I'm looking for the equation. So I know it's going to be one of these number sentences. And I'm looking to find the D from her friend's house to the beach, right? And I also just kind of went back. So this is an extra one I put, then both girls bike to the beach. So this is going to help me. So when I take a look, so which do you think? Are we adding the distance from her friend's house to what she rode from her house to her friend's house, and we end up with 14? Are we taking away the distance from her friend's house to the beach? Are we starting with that, taking away her distance she rode from her house to end up with 14? Are we making groups? Are we doing the 8 miles that she started with times the distance from her friend's house to the beach and ending up with 14? Or are we taking that distance from her friend's house to the beach and dividing that up into 8 groups? Well, let's think. Would that really make sense when this 8 is the miles from her house to her friend's house? Probably not. And plus, we have the in all, which tells us that we're probably adding. So hopefully you picked right. And we're going to use this one, right? We're taking the distance from her friend's house, this one right here, this purple, for what they rode together, added to the 8 miles from her house to her friend's house. And we end up riding 14 in all. Okay, let's look at the next one. Vicky's bicycle is old and rusty. Her parents won't buy her a new one unless she does more chores around the house. Vicky's dad said he will buy her a new bicycle if Vicky mows the lawn, rakes the leaves, and washes the windows every weekend for 24 weeks in a row. Vicky's very motivated and does her chores for 6 weeks straight. Which equation can Vicky use to find how many more weeks, W, she needs to do her chores before her parents will buy her a new bicycle? And here's our choices. So remember, whenever we get this, we want to circle our numbers and units and underline what it's asking, box any keywords. So right here, so I have my every weekend. These are in the yellow is what I would be circling. Every weekend, and I have every because that's telling me it's kind of like our each, right? I have my 24 weeks. I definitely need to circle that. I have 6 weeks, right? So notice that we have each time, and we're looking at, we have our weeks here. We have our weekend. These are important because this is how long she has to work. This is how long she has worked, okay? And we're looking for how many more is usually going to be my keyword. When I'm looking for how many more, usually that's going to be some type of like a comparison. Okay, so I'm looking. And when I am looking for here, I'm going to say this is what I'm looking for is how many more weeks, W, does she need to do her chores before her parents buy her a new bike? right? So she has to do it for 24. She's done it for 24. She's done it for 6 so far. So if I'm looking at that, which one am I going to need to do? Good job. If you said this one, now notice that this is, if I say how many more, I would be doing subtraction. So in this case, I would have my number sentence, and I want to give you a cue that these are ones that I had taken from the IXL because this is what you'll be practicing. So I would have taken my how many more, and I would have taken how many she has to do minus how many she's done. So I would have done 24 minus 6 is going to give me W equals W. But notice these were not, that choice was not here. So remember, the opposite of subtraction is going to be addition. So I'm taking how many more weeks she needs to do. Sorry, guys. How many more weeks she needs to do. I'm going to try to go above it to see if we get there. How many more weeks she needs to do plus what she already has done to equal her total. Okay. Try another one. Brenda and her family spend a week camping at Glacier Lake. On their last night, they sing silly songs and roast marshmallows around the campfire. Brenda empties a bag of marshmallows onto 4 paper plates, so each family member gets the same number. Each plate ends up with 5 marshmallows. Which equation can you use to find the number of marshmallows M in the bag before Brenda empties it? Okay, so let's circle our numbers and units and underline what it's asking. So when I circle, I have my 4 paper plates. I have each family member, because that stands for 1, right? I have each plate, 1 plate, 5 marshmallows, right? So basically here, and I put here gets the same number, because usually when we get the same number, we're talking about dividing something up equally, okay? And we have right here which equation, and we're looking for the number of marshmallows M in the bag before Brenda empties it. So she starts with some number, and then she is going to split them on these 4 paper plates, right? If you split, we know we're dividing. And then we're going to have, that's going to give every plate gets 5, right? So good. If you started with the number of marshmallows divided by the 4 plates, and we said that gets the same number and we're splitting it up equally, that's usually division, right? That equals 5. How are you doing? I hope you're getting these. After school, Kamal helps out at a bunny shelter called Hoppy's Home. He cleans cages and feeds all 9 bunnies at the shelter. In addition to food pellets, each bunny also gets an equal number of baby carrots. Kamal feeds the bunnies a total of 36 baby carrots. And we're looking for which equation can you use to find the number of baby carrots C each bunny gets. Okay, so let's do our circling and underlining. So I'm going to circle the 9 bunnies that are at the shelter. I'm going to circle the 36 baby carrots he uses. And we have an equal number. So usually when we're talking about an equal number, we're splitting something up or we're saying that they get the same amount. So usually it's talking about either making the groups or dividing them into the groups. Okay. And we know we're looking for the equation and we're trying to find the number of baby carrots each bunny gets. And really, I should have, in hindsight, circled this one because we have each bunny, right? That's 1. So I'm splitting up these 36 baby carrots between the 9 bunnies. But if I look here, right, really what I would say is this 36 split between the 9, but I don't have that as an option. So notice I'm going to go the other way, because if I was writing my problem, I'd do 36 divided by the 9 to equal the C. But in this case, they're making groups. So 9 times some number, that's what each bunny is getting, gives me 36 total carrots. Okay. I hope you did well, and I look forward to your work on the IXL. Let me know.